you tonight. We've got quite a jam-packed broadcast. A 7-hour talk that collapsed. Medics say strike is on next week as well. A lot of questions and conversations around that, even as the opposition has now called for sobriety and the government to listen in to the doctors and give what they ask for. Well, this and much more we've got lined up for you tonight. Welcome to the broadcast. Let's take a look at stories making headlines. No retreat, no surrender. Medics say strike is still on, despite 7-hour talks with the government. Kindiki cracks the whip further on illegal liquor, says government will not back down. Kenyan entourage concludes trade talks in Tanzania with a view of expanding the two nations. Well, you can watch us live across our social media platforms on EBN TV. We are live on our website, www.ebntv.co.ke. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. Let's get this show started. Now, despite a grueling 7-hour session that stretched into the wee hours of Friday morning, talks between the government and striking doctors broke down once again, leaving the crippling health crisis unresolved as the strike entered its 9th day. The closed-door meeting began at 5 p.m. on Thursday and was held at the Kenyatta International Convention Center. After the meeting, both sides addressed the media separately, reading from different scripts. Head of Public Service Felix Kosgei said officially there was no strike. On the other hand, the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union officials insist their nationwide strike was still on.
We had issues that we put there on. Number one was the comprehensive medical cover for doctors across the country, which is under discussion. Number two, we talked about the posting of medical interns, which the government was saying they have to change name. And then we say we have a collective bargaining agreement that was signed and is an order of the court that need to be implemented. These were postgraduate trainings that we've been discussing. They ought to give commitments that also was not given yet. Then there's issue of collective bargaining agreement of 2017-2021, the basic salary arrears that they owe us for the last 7 years. Goodwill comes out of previous commitments that were actually fulfilled. And that's what we will ask from that. If we have things that are fulfilled based on our notice, they will say there's goodwill. But if out of the 19 that all promissory notes, it becomes still.
We have tasked that committee to not only categorize these 19 issues, arrange them in priority basis, and at the same time we have tasked them to come up with a list of these grievances that has been bedeviling this sector for a long time.
As the doctors' strike is in its 2nd week, health services and public hospitals continue to be disabled, and many Kenyans are struggling to find a way to get treatment. The county governor of Tana River, Dadho Godhana, has asked doctors who refuse to consider the health of Kenyans who only depend on public health sector for health services. He spoke in Mombasa town, and the governor said that the strike has continued to destabilize the health sector, therefore demands dialogue between the national government and the Union of Doctors. Dadho said the residents of Tana River are most dependent on public health hospitals, and if the strike continues, then health services may completely crash.
Ni kweli kwamba mgomo wa madaktari unaendelea, na ni kama ambavyo bado kuna hofu mgomo huu unaweza kuwa na uzito zaidi wiki inayokuja na mbele. Na najua madaktari wote kwa kawaida na hata ilivyo sasa ni kwamba wanafanya mgomo in solidarity with the profession. Na tumekuwa tukiwabembeleza, tukiwashauri kwamba ingawaje wanafanya maandamano yao in solidarity, lakini wajue kwamba tegemeo la mtu wa Tana yule wa kawaida ni serikali mpaka sasa. Kwa hiyo wanategemea ile hospitali, wanategemea ile ka drugstore kako pale. So wafanye kwa kiasi ili mwananchi asiumie. na nafikiria hayo ndio makubaliano. Hata wakifanya, lakini hata national wajue kwamba wafanye kwa kiasi, mwananchi wa kawaida asiumie.
Azimio la Umoja coalition has opposed the tax increase, standing against the Kenyan government's plan to raise 16 trillion shillings through increased taxes. They further criticized the government's agricultural policies, particularly the reliance on subsidized fertilizer, revealing that some of it was donated from Russia, and there are concerns about substandard quality. They also spoke on allegations of corruption in the distribution of fertilizer, with reports of some bags being filled with sand instead of the fertilizer.
Our fellow citizens, against the excesses of this Kenya Kwanza regime, determined, and they look so determined. We even see the headline news is that trying to have a plan for raising 16 trillion by adding more taxes. Yani ni mupende musipende kind of mentality.
In agriculture, we have been told of the success of the subsidized fertilizer. But what we have not been told, that part of that subsidized fertilizer was a donation from Russia. And now we're hearing of fertilizer that is substandard. The MD has confirmed that some of the fertilizer that is being distributed does not meet their standards. We are being told of some bags being packed with sand, mchanga, and being called fertilizer. No, this Kenya Kwanza mess is real.
Kenyans have been asked to rally behind President William Ruto's efforts to ensure every Kenyan pays taxes to boost national and county government's revenue. The Commissioner of the Revenue Allocation Commission, Hadija Juma, has issued a call to action highlighting the necessity for Kenyans to support President William Ruto's initiatives aimed at ensuring every citizen pays taxes. Nganyi also said that despite county governments having the capacity to collect approximately 216 billion Kenyan shillings in taxes last year, only a paltry 45 billion was collected. She also emphasized the significance of boosting on-source revenue, saying all counties are below par in terms of collecting revenue. Now, they spoke at the ongoing investment forum in Kakamega town, and Juma singled out Kakamega County as one of the regions with the potential to collect over 5 billion shillings in taxes. However, they currently are collecting just 1 billion.
Na kama tume ya ugavi wa fedha tumekuwa tukizunguka katika 47 counties tukitrain wale ambao wanahusika na mambo ya revenues jinsi wanaweza kufanya kuhakikisha kwamba wameweza kuongeza ushuru. Na ingawaje wengi unapata their revenue stream wa automate kama 2-3, lakini nyingi kama 10 hivi ama 20 nyingi bado wanakusanya manually. Hiyo ni changamoto sana, na kuna hiyo issue ya kuweka structures in place. Kakamega County ni mojawapo ya zile county ambazo ziko na proper structures. Kenya mzima out of the 47 county tuna county kama 4 ambazo zimewekwa revenue board, na Kakamega County ni moja hapo. Kakamega County iko na potential ya kukusanya on source revenue up to 5.4 billion. Ingawaje the last financial year waliweza kukusanya only 1.3 billion. Ukiangalia bado wako chini kidogo, na ni jukumu letu kama tume ya ugavi wa fedha. Kumekuwa na changamoto, counties hazijaweza kufikisha ile target ambayo mara nyingi wana set. Kwa hii miaka yote hakuna county yote ambayo imeset target na ikaweza kufikia hiyo target. Kama tume ya ugavi wa fedha tumeweza kufanya study na tukapata kwamba counties zina uwezo wa kukusanya 216 billion kila mwaka. Ili hali mwaka ambao umepita, the last financial year, waliweza kukusanya only 45 billion. Hiyo ni less than 20%. Na ukiangalia revenue growth ambayo counties wanakusanya on source revenue, it's at 24%, ambayo it's very very low. Na changamoto ni nyingi sana. Mwanzo kuna hiyo mambo ya leakages, kuna mashimo mengi sana ambayo unapata counties zinakusanya pesa sometimes manually, na hiyo huwa wanasema kwamba pesa ni shetani. Wakati wana collect pesa manually zinapotelea kwa mikono ya watu hapa chini. Jambo la pili ni ile wale ambao wanahusika labda hawana training za kutosha.
Now, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, and Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, during a state visit to Tanzania, affirmed the strong trade, investment, and economic cooperation and further directed the trade ministers to address all issues that affect trade with a view of enhancing trade between the two nations. Now, to this effect, the 8th bilateral trade meeting was convened as a follow-up to address the outstanding issues presented at the 7th bilateral trade meeting held from 9th to 12th March 2022 in Zanzibar. The objective of the meeting was to address issues that hinder trade between the two countries.
During a state visit to Tanzania, affirmed the strong trade, investment, and economic cooperation, and further directed the trade ministers to address all issues that affect trade with a view of enhancing trade between the two nations.
To this effect, the 8th bilateral trade meeting was convened as a follow-up to address the outstanding issues presented at the 7th bilateral trade meeting held from 9th to 12th March 2022 in Zanzibar. The objective of the meeting was to address issues that hinder trade between the two countries.
The meeting was co-chaired by Rebecca Miano, EGH, Cabinet Secretary in the Ministry of Investments, Trade and Industry of the Republic of Kenya, and Honorable Advocate Stephen Biabato, MP, Deputy Minister, Minister of Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation of the United Republic of Tanzania.
The meeting underscored the importance of both parties to ensure compliance with the commitment made. The meeting acknowledged that during the past 30 days, the following have been achieved. 1. Resumption of tea export to Tanzania. 2. Clearance of spirits, konyagi, at Namanga from United Republic of Tanzania that has been detained by the Kenya Bureau of Standard, and clearance of timber from United Republic of Tanzania at Lunga Lunga, Holo Holo, that had been detained by Kenya Bureau of Standard.
For the country to succeed in suppressing the manufacture, distribution, sale, and consumption of killer brews, narcotic drugs, and psychotropic substances, each county has to develop a long-term sustainable plan that is suited to the local dynamics of the matter. In Embu County, the program that began on March 7, 2024 has yielded significant results, where 116 people have been arrested and prosecuted, 296 alcohol selling premises licensed contrary to the law shut, and 270 rolls of bang seized. At Embu Town this morning, the CS concluded, the Cabinet Secretary for Interior concluded a sitting with the county security heads and agreed on the plan to the enforcement of anti-illicit alcohol and the anti-narcotics measure. They also adopted measures on reduction of crime, maintenance of law and order, and the monitoring and evaluation, as well as schedule for reporting.
And going forward, no license of whatever type will have any validity in the territory of Kenya if it is within 300 meters to a basic learning institution. And that includes private and public schools alike. Ile bidii inaendelea hapa ya kukabiliana na madawa ya kulevya, pombe haramu na masuala ingine ya kiusalama inaendelea vizuri, lakini vile vile tunachunguza kama kuna uwezekano kuna wahalifu ambao labda wanajificha hapa wakitorokea operations za Nairobi, na vile vile tunashuku kuna wahalifu wengine ambao wako hapa ambao labda wangetaka kutorokea Nairobi kama mambo hapa itachacha. So we will make sure the teams here and the teams in Nairobi work in hand to make sure there is no hiding place for criminals. And we are also very keen to make sure that Tala, because of its proximity to Nairobi, is not being used to harm our children through harmful practices, including exposure to alcohol before the legal age, exposure to narcotic drugs, or even child pornography. Asanteni sana, Mungu wabariki. Have a good afternoon. Also across the country, we've been able to shut down over 9,000 facilities or premises that were operating without any form of license. And we are not going to allow those premises to resume that illegal activity. The crackdown and the enforcement measure program continues.
Digitization of land records to protect Murang'a County landowners from exploitation by cartels and middlemen and fraudsters is 90% done. This is according to Lands and Physical Planning Principal Secretary Nixon Korir, which he says will migrate to Ardhi Sasa, a digital land information management system that will be the end of manual land transactions in Murang'a County, which he said was easily exploited. Korir said that reforms being implemented at the ministry are yielding positive results, noting that the new system is designed to enhance the security of land records, speed up land transactions and curb fraud. Speaking when he visited the Murang'a Lands Registry to assess the status of digitizing processes, he said the advent of Ardhi Sasa, cases of missing files, perennial fraud, corruption and illegal land transactions will be a matter of the past.
The system that we are using in Nairobi is a system that we are going to replicate in Murang'a. We have a system that is working, that all the stakeholders have assessed it. With the challenges that we had last year, we have sorted them, and Ardhi Sasa is working now. We are also going to have a customer care desk in Murang'a that will assist the members of the public in opening the accounts for Ardhi Sasa and assist them in taking them through the processes of transactions. There are many processes of transaction, be it a transfer, be it a subdivision, be it a charge or discharge. All of them are available in our system. And I think to the members of public, I think we are excited that we are rolling out this Ardhi Sasa. Finally, we are going to go live in Murang'a from next week. The preparedness to roll out this system nationally, the challenge has been that we don't have a live cadastre, and that is, if you look at Murang'a should have actually gone live almost a year ago. But because of the amendments that we needed to do with our maps, most of our maps were outdated, and we needed to send a team first that came and amended all the maps, amended over all our RIMs, uploaded the maps into a live cadastre, where now the non-spatial data, which is the attributes associated to the land, that is the ownership of the land, the size of the land, you know, the georeferencing part of it, are now be uploaded to the cadastre. So we didn't have that cadastre. That still remains a challenge in many parts of the country, but we are working on ensuring that now we have a cadastre. As I've said, we are now having a surveyors in Isiolo working on the cadastre for Isiolo, and a team that is scanning documents, so that while the survey is working and is completed immediately, then the other attributes are uploaded, and then we can go live. Same to Mombasa, same to Machakos. We have a projection. Let's see, maybe within the next 5 years, we will assess ourselves how we fare. But we target to roll the entire country at least within the next 5 years. Yeah.
Principal Secretary for Investment and Trade Abubakar Hassan has said the stall of Dongo Kundu Economy Zone, which was caused by people who were moved from their land to pave way for the project, has been resolved. The PS says in 2 months' time, the people who are affected with the project will be compensated, as the multi-agency team has okayed the payment. Speaking at the port of Mombasa after meeting with JICA, the contractors, National Land Commission, County Government of Mombasa and Kentraco, he noted that already they have 3 international investors who have signed contracts and are ready to start the project.
You are aware, His Excellency the President had directed that this special economic zone, Dongo Kundu, to be operationalized quickly to facilitate investor entry, so that the people of Kenya and people of Mombasa can derive the economic benefit of this zone. So we are here just to check the status and the preparedness of the zone to be ready, to be investor ready, so that we can start admitting investors into the zone. We have assessed, and we think we are good. There has been a small delay on the issue of PAPs the project affected persons, but I think the queries which was raised before, they have now been resolved, and in the next 1 or 2 months, the PAP issue will be no issue anymore, and investors now are encouraged to apply and get admitted into the zone.
Na tuna invite investors wakuje, na vile PS amesema kuna investors tayari wako wamekuja. Taifa Kazi tayari yashaanza kazi, na vile tumesema list kazi ile imeanza kufanya ni about 20%, na wale investors wengine pia na tumepokea applications nyingi sana kutoka investors wengi, na tunatumai hii process ikimalizika then kazi itaanza kwa haraka sana, sababu pia naye tuna mwelekeo wa serikali ni kuwa hii miradi inatakana iwe imeanza. So tuko nyuma kidogo, lakini leo yale mambo yalikuwa na leta tashwishi tumesuluhisha zote.
65 people have been arrested by detectives across the country as they sell fake seeds to farmers. Kenya Plant Health Inspectorate Services, KEPHIS chairperson Joseph Merwaki has said they are increasing the number of workers in order to curb selling of fake seeds to farmers in the country. Speaking in Mombasa, the chairperson has cautioned farmers to buy seeds at recognized outlets which were licensed by KEPHIS.
We are working on round the clock to ensure that the farmers, they are getting the right seeds, and those who are selling fake seeds, we are going for them. Recently, we are together with the team, security team in Nakuru, we are able to arrest one of the great suspects who comes from Nakuru, the area of Wanjoro. And this person and about 60,000 Kenya empty seed packets for the maize, and also some empty bills for the seeds, some machines, even fake KEPHIS stickers for the seeds, and also some maize that were the seeds which are fake, which worth over 12 million, around 13 million Kenya shillings, and these were to find their way to the market. So we are working now. We are working with the other agencies to ensure that these kind of incidents do not happen. So this guy is already arrested and is in police custody. So far we have a number of people who have been fined. Others are in prison because of this, and the fine this can attract up to $1 million or even 2 years imprisonment. Because those people who are committing the crime of sin, we call them, they are like actually economic saboteurs. They are contributing to food insecurity, and therefore we are taking this matter seriously because we want to promote agriculture, the productivity, improve the food security in the country. In fact, we are here in Mombasa also as Ambund, and one of the things that we are looking at is the risk. And these are some of the risks we realize, the risk in terms of the productivity. How do we manage the risk? How do we ensure that these kind of things do not happen?
As the world marks World Water Day, Kisumu County was not left behind, with colorful procession along the streets of Kisumu, and led by the main water services provider in the region, Kiwasco. Members of the public had an open day forum to have their water issues addressed. Speaking to the media on behalf of the Chief Executive Officer of Kiwasco, the Chief Manager Corporate Services, Nicholas Museti, revealed that the major challenge in water distribution is the county and is due to the loss of revenue, the meter theft, pipe breakages as well. He said the water provider loses 30 million shillings monthly in revenue and over 300 meters stolen on a monthly basis. Museti further called on Kisumu residents to help apprehend the meter theft culprits, and they will get 10,000 shillings in reward.
My name is CPA Nicholas Museti. I'm the Chief Manager, Corporate Services, Kisumu Water and Sanitation Company. Today we are marking the World Water Day, and the theme for this year's World Water Day is Water for Peace. We are looking at us having a peaceful environment when we are dealing with water services. Water is a shared resource. We get water, the source of water, even the one that we are getting from Lake Victoria comes from Rift Valley. And so we have inter-counties, and it's important that we remain peaceful even as we consume water. Today we have decided to call our customers for an open day, open forum. We are meeting our customers here. And so if you have any complaints, if you have anything that you may want us to look at it, then our staff are here to look at your complaints, look at the matters that you could be having, to enable us then have peace with our customers also. So it's both internal and external. External, we are looking at the bigger picture, the inter-county water. But again, internally, we are looking at our customers that we are serving here in Kisumu. Of course, there are other questions that are coming up, issues of meter theft that is currently rampant. It's a mystery also unto us, because we don't know where they are going. There are issues of maybe they are going to the scrap metal dealers.
Because if we don't have, if my neighbors also don't have water, then our community is not at peace. And so it's very important that last mile connection to individual houses or individual businesses is done. When I was a little girl going to school, we didn't have water, and one of the things I had to do before going to school is to go fetch water. Currently, my children are not experiencing that because we have water in the house. So I can say gradually over the years it has improved, and that can also be attested by the number of water vendors that you're able to see. Their number has been reducing over time. So I can say it has been improving, but yes, there's still room for more improvement.
Now, from our sports desk tonight, Kenya's Ofalme Stars on Friday got off the canvas and lifted defending champions Cameroon off their feet with a huge uppercut of straight sets to roar into the African Games men's volleyball final in Accra, Ghana. The national men's volleyball team strolled past Cameroon in sets of 25-23, 25-23 and 25-17 to cement their maiden African title as the West Central Africans relinquished their 2019 crown they won in Rabat. Now, the win put the Kenyans firmly on course to win their first ever title on their return to the African scene since they settled for a bronze in Maputo 13 years ago. Now, still on the same note, the Malkia Strikers, who are the female counterparts or the female national volleyball team, unfortunately were not able to make it to the finals, and Egypt thrashed them in 3-2. That means Malkia Strikers will have to play the third or the best losers match for a bronze medal. Now, still in Ghana, Janeth Chepngetich shrugged off Ethiopians' challenge to win the women's 10,000 meters race on Thursday night in Ghana as Kenya's gold medal haul at African Games increased to 6. Chepngetich, who trains at Keringet in Nakuru County, clocked 33 minutes and 37 seconds to win the 25-lap race ahead of Ethiopian's Bellew Kefale, who clocked 33 minutes and 38.3 seconds. Amare Tekan Bere came in third with 33 minutes, 51 seconds. And Chepngetich sprinted in the last lap to overcome Kefale, who had dominated the race in early stages of the 25-lap race. Her win was Kenya's 6th gold at the quadrennial competition and increases the country's medal tally to 24.
Janeth Chepngetich and, of course, Kefale Bellew. It's Kenya against Ethiopia, as we've seen in every long distance race over the last 50 years. It's always Kenya against Ethiopia. Well, the African Games record belongs to the Kenyans. The world record belongs to the Ethiopians. And that's what it is. But look at that. It is Bellew. Bellew coming strongly. Bellew has overtaken Chepngetich as they approach the home straight. But Chepngetich is not relinquishing the lead just yet. Chepngetich is taking over the lead. Bellew is struggling. She's running with every sinew of energy in her. But it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. It is Chepngetich. Janet Chepingetich runs away with it, crosses the line, and is gold for Kenya. Ethiopia will have to settle for the silver medal and the bronze.
Now, we'd love to wrap it up at that point. However, let me give you a quick update from Team Kenya about the Kenyan team that went to Accra, Ghana for the All-African Games. Brian Komen and Abel Kipsang excel in securing gold and bronze medal in the highly competitive 1500-meter race. So, one more gold medal from Brian Komen and one more bronze from Abel Kipsang at the All-African Games, who are competing in the 1,500-meter distance. Also, Mary Ekiru has just clinched her senior medal after coming in third in the 1500-meter race as well. So 3 more medals tonight, 2 from the gentlemen's 1500-meter race and 1 from the 1500-meter race for the women. So we'll be keeping tabs with that to see how much more medals we can get, or how many more medals we can get by the end of the tournament. We're expecting such a jam-packed event this evening with the 4x400 meter race for the men as well as the 4x400 meter for the women. So we are hoping we get something out of that. However, that is where we wrap it up tonight. Thank you for your valuable company, and we'll be bringing you more updates in our subsequent bulletins tomorrow. Do enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm Cynthia Nanjala.